Welcome to this DaVinci Resolve Fusion node breakdown. Today's node is the transform node. So we're going to jump into Fusion where I've got a little rectangle set up to a background and the background to emerge. So let's say we needed to transform this rectangle, whether it's moving it, resizing it, or doing whatever we have to do. The best node to use is the transform node. So you can either just drag it from up here, or you can hit Shift Space and type transform. So we're going to drop this in after our background. So one thing to remember about the transform node, unlike the resize and scale node we went over the last few days, those two nodes actually change the resolution of your footage. However, the transform node does not change the actual resolution. It's just changing the size, but not changing the actual resolution of anything that's being transformed. So on your transform node, the first thing I'm going to hit is this reference size. So your center and your pivot is centered, and it says 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, which means halfway between our image here. And that's based off our reference size. And what this reference size is this just an arbitrary number of how we want to use these center and pivot numbers up here. So for example, if I want to make it by 1000, so I can hit 1000. And I could even make my height 1000, even though we know this isn't a square. But that just changed my center to 500, 500, and my pivot to 500 and 500. So that's just referencing what your center and what your actual pixel reference size is going to be. So I could make it 2 if I wanted to. And so now our center is 1. So this changes nothing on your actual Fusion project. This is just a reference size. So if I wanted to make sure, like our image is 3840 by 2160, that we're using that reference size, all I have to do is hit auto resolution. So now it automatically set our width to 3840 and our height to 2160. And now we know our center is 1920 and 1080 and 1920, 1080 for our pivot. So that's all this reference size is for. So up here on your transform, you have a center, which is the center of your actual transform. It's going to be that red little gizmo with the up and down arrow with a square in the middle. Now down here you have your pivot, and the pivot is a little finicky sometimes, but if I go down here and just type in like 1000, you can see our pivot just moved. And then once you move it, you can grab it and move it wherever you want. So if I want this corner down here to be my pivot location, now if I change my angle, it's going to rotate and pivot my image off that pivot point. And if I want it to be centered, now it's rotating from the center off that pivot point. Now this check mark, use size and aspect ratio, this is for these two sliders right here. So right now it's set to size, so I can change the size. I can change the aspect ratio. And if I uncheck this, it's going to use the X and Y size. So my size X and my size Y independently. And your angle is just going to rotate it and change the angle. And down here we have flip horizontally and vertically, but you're not going to see anything happening because it flips what's inside. It's not flipping your overall image. So if I say take some random footage and put that into our transform, and if I flip it, you can see it's flipping inside or flipping horizontally, and it's not flipping that entire image, just what's inside. So let's get rid of that. And down here we have edges, and let me go ahead and change that. So what your edges do is it determines how any transform the pixels effect on your edges. So right now it's just set to canvas, which means if I drag it across, it's just going to attempt to extend those pixels outside the canvas or to the canvas. If I hit wrap, it's going to wrap those images. If I hit duplicate, it's going to attempt to duplicate the pixels across the outside of the domain of definition. And if I hit mirror, it's going to mirror them. So go to canvas. And down here, your filter method is just like all of our other filter methods on our other resize nodes with your nearest neighbor, box, linear. And again, this is going to be determined by how it looks. Right here, we have invert transform. So any transforms we make, and let me rotate that. Any transforms we make, it's just going to invert every single transform. So the center, your pivot, your X and Y size, and your angle is going to invert every single transform you have. Basically make it opposite. And here we have flatten transform, which means anything going out will make sure this transform doesn't affect any additional nodes or additional transforms you have in your pipe, because sometimes that does cause a problem. And within your transform node, all of your settings are keyframeable. And this is pretty much the primary way we transform a lot of our stuff or animate a lot of our images and different things that are going on, because we know it doesn't resize or change our actual pixels. It's just animating that image. So if we wanted to animate, say, our angle, go to the end, we could change it up to, say, 1080. So now if we go back, our image is animated. And it's pretty light on your computer with this node for any animation settings. So that is the transform node. Probably one of the most used nodes within Fusion. I will see you in the next node breakdown.